Hi students, welcome to our class. So today we are going to start the unit 2 as we have completed the unit 1 completely with material. So let us start with the unit 2 lesson followed with how to write a conversation. These two we are going to learn today. Clear? Now let's see the trigger page what it is going to say.
See the quotation? Dream, dream and dream high, for dreams lead to thoughts and thoughts lead to actions. You all know how should be our dreams. When you dream to a high extent, the desire of achieving your dream, it either be a goal or something else. Now how should we dream? The dream is going to be in a high level which leads you to thoughts, and those thoughts lead to action. Then you will begin doing in your work so that you will achieve your goal in an easy way. See, this is a wonderful quote. Down the questions were given to you. What according to you does this quotation express? Is it essential to dream high? How can anyone make one dream come true? What is your dream in life? Have you ever heard of a child with special needs becoming a champion? Now please note down the answers for this in your notes. Clear? Now I am going to show you few pictures. Look at those pictures and tell me what is the difference between games and sports. Come on, look at it. Is there a difference between a games and a sports? Yes, there is a difference between games and sports. What it is? Sports are activities practiced individually. In England, the word sports means some indoor or outdoor activities for fun. And what are the games come under as sports? Athletics, horse racing, cycling, etc. Whereas games are activities played in a team. The game has its own rules and is usually played with a kind of ball. A referee decides about the game. So these are the differences between games and sports. Now why we have discussed about this difference between games and sports? Now we are going to see an international inspirational personality, and this personality was a Michael Stone. In his life he had many hardships. Even though according to our quotation, where dreams lead to thoughts and thoughts lead to action, he had used in his life and became a great person. So reading A about true height. True height itself says about the way he had challenged his life. The story talks about the feelings of an athlete as he pursues his dream. Read about a nerve-wracking day in Michael Stone's life as he prepares to take the ultimate test of his sports career. It is an awe-inspiring achievement that will leave you breathless. See, this is a wonderful lesson which makes every person to inspire. His palms were sweating. He needed a towel to dry his grip. A glass of ice water quenched his thirst, but hardly cooled his intensity. The astroturf he sat on was as hot as the competition he faced today at the National Junior Olympics. The pole was set at 17 feet, that was 3 inches higher than his personal best. Michael Stone confronted the most challenging day of his pole vaulting career. The stands were still filled with about 20,000 people, even though the final race had ended an hour earlier. Usually, when you are going for your tough competition, at that time we feel very nervous. Here the same experience we'll see in this man. His palms were sweating, tension. He needs some towel to dry his grip. Even he had quenched his thirst, satisfied his thirst by drinking a glass of ice water, but hardly cooled his intensity, his power. The astroturf he sat on was as hot as the competition. What do you mean by astroturf? a brand name for a type of artificial grass surface used especially for sports. Okay, for sports ground, it is called as AstroTurf. And he was where today at the National Junior Olympics, the pole was set at 17 feet. Already, it is his personal best, the 3 inches higher. Then we can know what is his personal best. Michael Stone confronted the most challenging day. It is one of the challenging days for his pole vaulting career. And 20,000 people were there, even though the final race ended an hour earlier. The pole vault is truly the glamorous event of any track and any field competition. The sportsman combines the grace of a gymnast with the strength of a bodybuilder. Pole vaulting also has the element of flying, and the thought of flying as high as 2-storied building is a mere fantasy to anyone watching such an event. Today it is not only Michael Stone's reality and dream, it is his quest. See, pole vaulting. A pole vault is a sport in which you use a long pole to swing over a high barrier. And these people need two. What is that? One is the strength of a bodybuilder is very important. And second one, they should fly up to as high as 2-storied building. And this is what our Michael Stone reality and dream. He want to satisfy, he want to make it as a real in his life. As long as Michael could remember, he had always dreamed of flying. Always he dreamed about flying to a high level. Michael's mother read him numerous stories about flying when he was growing up. And mother used to explain many of the stories to him as he was growing. But mother did not leave him in 1 year or 2 years. Though the boy was growing up, the mother used to explain to him many stories about this, numerous about flying. Her stories were always the one that described the land from a bird's eye view. A view of all the aspects of something. It is a noun phrase where it talks about all aspects of something which is going to happen. In his view, he realized that these things are happening. Her excitement and passion for details made Michael Stone dream full of color and beauty. Michael had this one recurring dream. He would be running down a country road. He could feel the rocks and chunks of dirt at his feet. As he raced down the Golden Line wheat field, he would always outrun the locomotives passing by. He would begin soaring like an eagle. See, when mother is explaining about these stories, how the mother explains to him with excitement and passion, means to realize the dreams of his son. So the mother is explaining in such a way, and he feel that he is running down a village road, and also he could feel the rocks and chunks of dirt as if he was running at that particular situation, and during the white Golden Line wheat field and outrun the locomotives. Locomotives means reality to movement or the ability to move. That works which with petrol or diesel. They are called as the locomotives. Where he flew would always coincide with his mother's stories. See, they are coinciding with the stories of the mother. His dad, on the other hand, was not a dreamer. His father never wanted to dream. He wanted always to fulfill the dream. And his father's name was Buzz Stone. He was a hardcore realist. Strong person. Hardcore is an adjective describing about a man. He was a strong realist. He believed in hard work and sweat. He only believes the way you are doing the hard work, how you are trying to achieve your task. And the main motto of his man, if you want something, work for it. Without work, you cannot get anything. And the work should be very hard working. Until you get it, you should try. Let you fail. But even though we should not stop or quit, we should try until we achieve. So, Buzz Stone is also such a hardcore realist. He only believes in hard work and sweat. So, his motto is if you want something, work for it. Now it's an important question. What is the motto of the father? And what's the name of the father? What kind of stories the mother used to explain to him? These are all in every paragraph. You need to create the questions as well as the answers. Now, from the age of 14, Michael did just that. He began a very careful and regimented weightlifting program. He worked out every other day with weights, with some kind of running work on alternate days. The program was carefully monitored by Michael's coach, trainer, and father. Michael's dedication, determination, and discipline was a coach dream. See, from the age of 14, very important here. From the age of 14, Michael started working with his dreams. And his careful and regimented weightlifting program, he was very strict in planning his schedule. Regimented is an adjective talking that strict and organized. See, usually we will prepare one schedule, one day we'll do, 2 days we'll do, and later we'll leave it. But it is not correct. When you have taken one schedule, you should be very strict in implementing the task. So, the weightlifting program, he began to prepare a schedule. He worked out every other day with weights, with some kind of running work on alternate days. So one day if he goes with the weightlifting, the next day he will be going with running or jogging or some other task. Alternate days he will be working very regimentedly, and the program was carefully monitored by a coach, trainer, and even a father. These three qualities we have in the birthstone. So he was monitoring all these tasks, and Michael's dedication, determination, discipline was a coach dream. And already we know the motto of the father: if you want something, work for it. So he made the mindset of his son that you should be dedicated, determined, and disciplined in doing the task every day. You never quit the work. Besides being an honest student, Michael Stone continued to help his parents with their farm chores. Michael's persistence in striving for perfection was not only his obsession but his passion. So besides, in addition to that, he always helped the parents. Obsession means that a state in which a person's mind is completely filled with a thought of one particular thing. So he always tried to help the parents whenever he has a free time. Along with his work, he used to help both the father and mother. Mildred Stone, Michael's mother. We have seen the father's name. Now we are going for the name of the mother. Mother name is Mildred Stone. Wished that he could relax a bit more and be that free dreaming little boy. On one occasion, she attempted to talk to him and his father about this, but his dad quickly interrupted, smiled and said, "You want something, work for it." And every day when father is giving a task to the son daily, one day with weightlifting, other day with running and everything, the mother is feeling pain. My son needs some relaxation. Every day he is doing the work. So one occasion, whenever she get time, she want to explain to father about this, that my son needs some relaxation. When she began to explain, father understood and quickly interrupted. How he interrupted? Not in an angry mood. He smiled and said only one word. What is that word? You want something? Work for it. What is this? This is the motto of the father. He always says only the motto. He never say anything else than that. All of Michael's walls today seem to be the reward for his hard work. And day by day, due to his regimented work, it is a reward for him getting achievements for his hard work. If Michael Stone was surprised, thrilled or arrogant about clearing the bar at 17 feet, you couldn't tell. As soon as he landed on the inflated landing mat and with the crowd on its feet, Michael immediately began preparing for his next attempt at flight. He seemed oblivious of the fact that he had just surpassed his personal best by 3 inches, that he was one of the final 2 competitors in the pole vaulting event at the National Junior Olympics. In every competition, wherever he goes, always he is trying to improve 3 inches of his personal best. from the beginning to now, we can observe. Now 17 feet bar he had completed, and he was so happy that he was trying to reach his level best. Michael cleared the bar at 17 feet and 2 inches and 17 feet 4 inches. Again he showed no emotion. See, when first time if you win, automatically some people will have a kind of egos. Oh, I am the best. No one can defeat me. But here we will observe that this man 17 feet 2 inches, 17 feet 4 inches, he had tried even though there is no other kind of the emotion, simplicity every moment. Constant preparation and determination were his reason. Always sitting still, I need to improve a lot. My determination is much important in working. As he lay on his back and heard the crowd groan, he knew that other Walter had missed his final jump. And when he heard that the crowd is groaning there, he understood that his competitor had missed his final jump. He knew it was the first time for his final jump. Since the other vaulter had fewer misses, Michael needed to clear his vault to win. Now it is my chance that I have to clear up to win my success. A miss would get him the second place, nothing to be ashamed. He never think either it is a first place or a second place, always try to do it, but Michael would not allow himself the thought of not winning first place. He would not allow. Always he tried to get only the first place. He rolled over and did his ritual of 3-finger tipped pushes up. He found his pole, stood and stepped on the runway that led to the most challenging event of his 17-year-old life. Now what is the age we are discussing? 17 years. And from the 14 years he started working. Now at the age of 17 years, he ritually of 3-finger tip pushing up that stick which he was holding and found his pole, stepped on the runway to the challenging event. The runway felt different this time. This time it is somewhat difficult. It startled him for a brief moment, surprised him, then it all hit him like a wet bale of hay. How did he think about it? It is just like a bale of hay. The bar was set at 9 inches higher than his personal best. So 2 inches over, 4 inches over. Right now it is a 9 inches higher than his personal best. That is only 1 inch of the national record, he thought. The intensity of the movement filled his mind with anxiety. Now one way tension, one way anxiety to him, how to complete this, and we are very much nearer to the national record. He began shaking off the tension from his body. Now if you feel tension, he cannot get it. So he is trying to remove his tension. It wasn't working. He became more tense. Though he is trying, he is unable to come out of his tension. Still and still he is preparing for tension. Now why is this happening to me now? What happened suddenly? Why am I become more tensed? He thought. He began to get nervous. Fear would be a more accurate description. What was he going to do? He had never experienced this feeling. Then out of nowhere and from the deepest depth of his soul, he envisioned his mother. Why now? What was his mother doing in his thoughts at a time like this? It was simple. His mother always used to tell him whenever he felt tense, anxious or even scared to take deep breath. Now when he was feeling more tense, actually if you are in tension, we don't get any ideas to our mind. But here he is thinking about the mother. What is the reason he was thinking about the mother? Mother explained to him many stories. In that story she told whenever we feel tension, how to come out of our tension. She had given him some ideas. Now he was thinking the same. What are the ideas the mother had given to him? When we feel tense, please come out of the tension with taking a deep breath inside. So he envisioned his mother. Have a vision of somebody or something. When you take a deep breath, automatically, whenever he felt tense, scared, he will take a deep breath. The reason is, it makes him some relaxation. So he did it. And when he had done, along with shaking the tension from legs, He gently laid his pole at his feet. He began to stretch out his arm and upper body. The light breeze that was once there was now gone. He could feel a trickle of cold sweat running down his back. He carefully picked up his pole. He felt his heart pounding. He was sure the crowd did too. The silence was deafening. When he heard the singing of some distant robins in flight, he knew it was his time to fly. See, when he was taking a deep breath, the tension from legs gently laid his pole at his feet. Now he can feel stretching his arm and upper body. The light breeze was now gone. Now what happened now? He could feel trickle of cold sweat running down his back. And everyone were very silent there. And he felt the heart pounding there. Some distant robins fly, singing very carefully. He understood it was the time to fly. As he began sprinting down the runway, something felt wonderfully different and familiar. The surface below him felt like the country road he used to dream about. And what are the dreams he had experienced? Now he was realizing the dreams. The same feelings he was getting right now when he was in the competition. The rocks, the chunks of dirt, the vision of the golden wheat field seemed to fill his thoughts when he took a deep breath. It happened. So in the third paragraph we discussed the same. Now he is getting the same feelings again. When he was doing this, he began to fly. His takeoff was effortless. Michael Stone was flying just as in his childhood dream. Now look at this picture. The dreams he was going to fulfill the dreams now. Only this time he knew he was not dreaming. It is not a dream right now, and this was real to him. Everything seemed to be moving in slow motion. See, everything he is feeling that they are in a slow motion. The air around him was also the pure and fresh at which he had ever sensed. He was soaring with the majesty of an eagle. So how wonderful feelings he had felt when he was going to such a great extent. In this picture you can observe. It was either the eruption of the people in the stands or the thump of his landing that brought Michael back to earth. Now he came back after taking the great height. Now he come back again to his earth on his back with that wonderful hot sun on his face. He could only envision the smile on his mother's face. He was thinking about, my mother is feeling so happy that I am going to realize the dream. My father is also in such a happy mood. So he was thinking about the parents. He knew his dad was probably smiling too, even laughing. He thought in that way, but the real thing happened is, Bert would always do that when he got excited, smile and then sort of giggle. Usually when he was so happy, he will be smiling, he will be giggling. But now the situation is different. He didn't know was that his dad was hugging his wife and crying. Michael was thinking my daddy was smiling and giggling, but in reality, what his father was doing is hugging the wife and crying. Crying was not in a sad moment, the happy tears. He was crying harder than Mildred had ever seen before. Even the wife too did not know that such a cry she hadn't seen in his life. She also knew he was crying the greatest tears of all, tears of pride. And how were the tears? The tears of pride and the happiness when the son succeeded in his life. He had a goal and today he realized this goal. So he was crying the greatest tears of all. What is that? Tears of pride. Michael was immediately swarmed with people hugging and congratulating him on the greatest accomplishment of his life. So he was swarmed with, means surrounded by. And all the audience, the fans, everyone surrounded him, congratulating him for his greatest accomplishment, which he had succeeded in his life. He later went on that day to clear 17 feet 6.5 inches, a national and international junior Olympics record. So on that day he cleared this 17 feet and 6.5 inches. with all the media attention and heartfelt congratulations, Michael's life would never be the same. With the media support and the heartfelt congratulations, it's not the same previously how he was. It was not just because he won the National Junior Olympics and set a new world record. It's not that he had set a new world record or he had won in the National Junior, but there is something. What it is, it wasn't because he had just increased his personal best by 9.5 inches. It was simply because Michael Stone was blind. See the inspirational story. He did not have eyes. Even though with the hearing of the mother's stories and the father being as a coach and trainer, he succeeded his goal. The blind boy even tried to achieve something in his life. So he increased his personal best. How much? 9.5 inches. He had increased in his personal best. And though he was a blind boy, he had shown the people, this is my success. Mother used to tell him stories, father used to train him. But though they give the support, it should come through the child to achieve something in the life. Now children, after reading this lesson, now we should question ourselves what we were doing, how to achieve in our life with a determination and passion. This is our Unit 2 Reading A lesson. Here's a glossary. Read it well and attempt in your notebook.
Students, now we are going to learn about creative expression, how to write a conversation. You all know it is a oral communication. It is just like dialogues between the two people. Now let us see how to make a conversation between the two. What is called conversation? Conversation is a piece of oral communication between two people to exchange some information or to share feelings. See here, you are not only exchanging information, sometimes you will talk about one topic discussion or you're sharing your feelings. During that time, we can make your conversation. The features of writing conversation are contains dialogue with 5 or 10 exchanges or more than 10 exchanges you can write. Proper sequence of exchanges are important. Sustaining the conversation with social norms means discourse markers like well, precisely, etc. Dialogues apt to the context, appropriate cohesive devices means the indicators of writing a conversation, you should take minimum 5 to 10 exchanges. The order of the exchanges should be in a proper way, polite, reflecting relationships, and a short response and tags can also be used. Appropriate punctuations like question mark, full stops, comma, exclamatory marks. You can use any kind, but see it is a well-formed construction. If you follow these indicators, your conversation will be very effective. For example, imagine you are listening to the commentary. Your father came there and reminded you of the ensuing examinations. He said, listening to cricket commentary is a waste of time. Develop a conversation between you and your father. Now, first of all, have an idea about what we are going to write in our conversation. So, here the discussion between father and you. Now, come on, start. Father, what are you doing, Raju? You, I am listening to cricket commentary, Dad. It's really very interesting. Now, father says, listening to cricket commentary is a waste of time. I have told this so many times, but you are doing the same. Now, you, please, Dad, allow me to listen to the commentary. Father, but Raju, your exams are fast approaching. Don't you want to get good marks? You, Yes, Dad, I would definitely get above 90% of marks in all the subjects. I have been preparing well for the last 15 days. Now, Father, you can't bring back even a second you have wasted, so please use the valuable time in a proper way. Thank you, Dad, for giving me such a good piece of advice. The cricket commentary will come to an end within half an hour. I will go back to my studies as soon as the commentary is over, Dad. Father, okay, you can listen, but you have to keep your promise. Thank you, Dad. I will do what I say. Now, what do we understand observing the conversation? See, exchange is in a proper order. First, how it started, and continuation means there should not be any disturbance between your exchanges. It should go in a proper manner. So, here one of the example I have shown you. From next, we will be doing our study material, creative expressions about conversation. Okay, children, this is our end of the class. Thank you. Have a nice day.